Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 26th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a broad overview that we can all relate to, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep into each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. So as we come into this week, one of the aspects that's not really been discussed very much is the fact that Saturn, the planet of structure, in one of its two home zones of Aquarius, is in a semi-sextile with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So we've got two planets located in their home berths, so they're in dignity. This semi-sextile is interesting because we're seeing some major structural changes in the world, and this week of course is very much to do with Capricornian energy because we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Pluto all in that sign. We also have Venus and Mercury coming into a conjunction on the 29th, despite Mercury going into retrograde that day. And also on the first day of 2023, Venus and Pluto come into an exact conjunction. So why am I talking about Saturn and Neptune in Aquarius and Pisces? Because I feel it's the direction of travel that's starting to open up. Once Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 24th of March, okay, it's just a brief journey through to early June this coming year, but it will be back for the long term through to year 44 from the 21st of January 2024. And the Aquarian energy that we're being pulled towards is more about a higher consciousness about how each of our individual behaviours, because Aquarius is very much the sign of the individual, but also how that collectively works with one another. Whereas Capricornian energy is much more to do with the established, the more ordered way of doing things that has become more the precedence over time. So I think that Capricornian energy, as we come into the start of 2023, is still really important. And having Venus and Pluto in a conjunction, my word, that can lead to some fated developments for many people throughout the year. But with Mercury in a retrograde, that's given us a bit of a clue that we need to rethink how we handle resources, how we approach things to do with materialism, just what value do we put on those old-fashioned notions of status, big properties, big cars. All of those things are going to come under increasing stress through the energy that's going to develop with Pluto in Aquarius. And Saturn has given us a taste over the last few years. So the angle between Saturn and Neptune is asking us to blend our perceptions and our sensitivities with the more progressive side of our thinking and how that interacts with other people. Now, it is also true to say that even though Mercury goes into the retrograde, which it will emerge from on January the 18th, it will still be in its post-shadow retrograde through to the 7th of February. So the early parts of 2023 are not necessarily going to be a straightforward plan. So we can set those New Year's resolutions. I should say that on New Year's Eve itself, the moon is in the sign of Taurus, where it really likes to be. It's exalted here, so a lovely place to be. And it's actually forging a beautiful semi-sextile to Jupiter, the planet of growth, newly arrived back in the sign of Aries. So I think that kind of says to us that the moon in Taurus is very much an appreciation of the good things in life, whether it's good food or good wine. But the Jupiterian energy is asking us through its rulership of Pisces to be mindful of the spiritual dimension, but also that we may have to refocus our longer term aims and goals because the world is changing radically, whether it's through automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, because we have the internet and technology has become at the core of so many of our lives. But as we come into the new year, and I'd like to wish you a very happy new year, On Sunday, the first day of this new dawn, that combination between Venus and Pluto is something to be mindful of, particularly in terms of business situations, because someone very charming and very persuasive is a person many of us will encounter in the new year. But we need to make sure that we're watching out for what the true motivations are of them and perhaps of ourselves on that particular event. So a lot of energy in the sign of Capricorn. That is asking us to think about goals, ambitions, and also it could be a culmination of a lot of effort that's gone in over a long period of time, where some people could get a deserved reward. But I think for many of us, what's absolutely true about modern life is that staying exactly as we are just isn't really an option, because the environment around us, quite literally, but also the interhumanal environment, is quite literally changing by the second. So sticking with those old objectives and those old ways of measuring what's important in life, such as the size of the property we live in, are going to make way much more for how we connect to other people and how we can find kinship, but also how we can find our individuality beyond the realm of purely making money. And I must stress, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money whatsoever. So please stay with me for your in-depth zodiac forecast. But if you've yet to get your year 2023 12-month personal forecast, if you order it now, you can get your life roadmap as well, 2 charts, and 30% off. But I will also give you your general 12-month forecast, your Chinese forecast for the year, and your Indian forecast. They're all 3 within the package. Please see the link below. So Libra, your week commencing the 26th of December forecast sees your ruler Venus align with both the retreating Mercury, but also with Pluto. How ironic is this? After all the pounding that Pluto has given Libran and Libran ascendant people since 2008, as it's squared up to your sun or your ascendant, this could be a point of destiny to help you to understand just where you're up to in really asserting your boundaries, which Jupiter is certainly helping you to do now in the 7th house. Can help you to get your message across in an upbeat way, even if it's quite sensitive in the way that you're wanting to handle things. I think obviously with Mercury retrograde there could be some last minute changes of plan around a family, home, extended family situation. Perhaps it will be some kind of gathering that could be frustrating. I think the real big picture is definitely Venus's alignment with Pluto, because where you live, how you live there, and who with is going to be the central theme of the whole of the next year. And because a whole load of energy is going to come in to the sign of Aries, your sector of relating, with 2 new moons, one an eclipse in the spring in the sign of Aries, but also the North Node moving into that area from the 13th of July, and then a brand new start for you as an individual on the 14th of October with a stunning solar eclipse in your own sign. And with Pluto moving, even if briefly, into the sign of Aquarius from the 24th of March through to early June, all this is going to see a big transition from where you've been in recent years, which does seem to have been really quite thin gruel. Now, you may be someone who's quite lucky that your situation is quite settled, you have supported family, maybe it's worked out in a practical way, the influence of Pluto, in other words, moving or renovating, because remember, Pluto is the planet of transformation. If things are not working, we can mend them. Pluto can be a good thing. It doesn't always have to be harsh endings, deaths, if you like. So I feel as you come into this new year, really valuing all the lessons, the extra insights and knowledge you've gained over those years, but also having a sense of anticipation about what's coming later in 2023. But Venus aligning with Pluto is saying, really set your intentions to thinking about exactly the type of place you'd like to live, or the type of emotional dynamics you feel you're worthy of, and then use the power of Pluto to transform things with the help of your ruler. I think that's the best way to handle this week. Wishing you a very happy new year.